everyone, and welcome today to my live session. What I'm going to talk about today is hidden sugars, right? We all know that we can eat sugar in things like chocolates and cakes and pastries. We all kind of know that those are high sugar foods. But what we don't realize is how much sugar is in hidden foods. And things like well, I'm going to go through the list now, but what I want to first start off with saying is that we know that we overeat sugar, right? But by how much is quite shocking. So most people in the States and in Europe have about, on average, about 22 teaspoons of added sugar. So that's not just, the sugar in your milk and your fruit and all that kind of stuff. That's added to our food. 22 teaspoons. And what the American Heart Association recommends is 6 teaspoons per day. So, well, that's for women. For men, it's 9 teaspoons per day. And so for women, that's a whopping 4 times more sugar than we should be having, and it's double for men. That's insane. That's a lot more sugar than we should be having. And the problem comes in not with the cakes and the pastries and blah, blah, blah that we already know about. It's the foods that we think are healthy, but we're actually are high in sugar and we don't realize it. So we're consuming all these foods and we think we're being healthy, but it's not being great for our diets. Now, this isn't a sugar bash, right? We can all have sugar in our lives. That's not a problem. The thing comes in when we overconsume, like we're constantly eating. And so what I want you to do is, I don't want you to completely cut out sugar because, you've got to live a little and everything in moderation. But what I want you to do is just become aware of anything, anywhere in your diet that you're actually consuming sugar that you didn't realize about. So this is why I'm going to go through a couple of these hidden sugar spots. And if you go, ooh, that's me, I eat a lot of those, then just start to try and reduce it, right? And just don't cut it out, just cut it down. All right, so the first one is breakfast cereals. So just because it says whole grain or fortified with vitamins and minerals, it doesn't mean that there's no sugar in there, right? Now, we all know that the kids' fruity or chocolatey cereals are high in sugar, and we, should avoid those. But it's even the healthy sounding ones that they sneak in the sugar. So a lot of your mueslis or your bran cereals or your oats can be high in sugar. And, they can be up to 20 grams of sugar per bowl. And that's 4 teaspoons of sugar that we don't even realize about. Now, 4 teaspoons doesn't sound a lot, but that's just one meal and it adds up after a while. Sorry about my hair. Yes, I'm wearing a bun. Don't judge me. I'm wearing pants though. So, so here's my health tip when it comes to cereal. I want you to try and choose a cereal, if you look at the label, that is less than, 12 grams of sugar, 10 to 12 grams of sugar. And so that's 2 teaspoons of sugar per serving. And try and avoid things an easy tip is anything that says frosted or glazed or it looks really golden. Those kind of things often will be glazed with sugar or honey or syrup, right? So you're better off getting the plain ones, the ones that look less golden, if you like, more washed out, which sounds terrible, but those kind of less processed ones. And then you add your own sugar to it. And this is the key. It's trying to take back that control. So we don't give the food manufacturers the decision of how much sugar we're having. We take back that control. Now I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent now, just on that thread. The easiest way to take back that control is to try and cook as much from scratch at home. So you're putting all the ingredients together. You know exactly what's going in your meal, and you can control it rather than buying pre-packaged, pre-processed foods. Now, this isn't going to work all the time, and I don't expect you to, make everything from scratch. We all live busy, crazy lives. But where you can, most of the time, try and cook your own meals, and so you can control or have things that are stripped down, like these, less fancy schmancy cereals that aren't frosted or glazed and et cetera, so you can control how much sugar goes in. So things like unflavored oatmeal or oat porridge, it's completely plain. It's just the oats. You can cook that, and then you can add all the pizzazz to it. Here's my jazz hands. All the pizzazz to it, like chopped banana or a dollop of honey or cinnamon, or whatever that is. Or other breakfast ideas are having some plain Greek yogurt or yogurt with some fresh fruit in it, like berries or strawberries. An egg is a great source of protein. It's a great start to the day because it gives you, energy that lasts for a longer period of time. And or avocado on toast, right? There's no sugar in those kind of foods. It's got a little bit of fat. It's got vitamins and minerals in it. So these are all good ways to start your day rather than a sugar-laden cereal. Okay, number 2. Hi, Damon. Give me a wave. Shout if you've got any questions. I hope I've said your name right. Okay, so number 2 is yogurt or yogurt, depending on where you're from. I'm going to say yogurt because that's how I grew up. But often we'll use yogurt as a nice, healthy snack, right, in between our meals or after, or as a dessert, because it's a healthier version than a bowl of ice cream. But the sad news is that sometimes these flavored yogurts can have a load of sugar in them. Some of them can actually have up to 30 grams, which is 6 teaspoons of sugar in a yogurt. And these are your fruit flavored ones. Now, yes, they can have some fresh fruit in them. So let's just take strawberry for an example. They can have some real strawberries in them, but to amp up that flavor, what the manufacturers do is they add extra sugar to it. They don't just add the strawberries. And it's much cheaper to add the sugar rather than the strawberries. So they put a few of the strawberries in, but then they ramp up the sweetness with added sugar. And we think we're being healthy because we're having, a little bit of fruit and some yogurt, and it's low fat. But low fat doesn't always equate low sugar. And this is an important distinction. In fact, I'm probably going to do another video just on marketing labels, food marketing labels. So, some of these can be equivalent to having like a scoop of ice cream. That's how much sugar they have in them. So what to do? Well, what I always recommend is having some plain yogurt. So you don't go for the fruit yogurts. Have a plain yogurt. My favorite is the thick Greek yogurt, full-fat Greek yogurt, because it's creamy, it's rich, it keeps you going for a long period of time. And what you can do is then add your own bits and bobs again to, jazz it up. So chopped fruit, chopped berries, honey, cinnamon, nuts, whatever it is. But again, you're in control. Like your cereal, you're in control of how much sugar is going into that, right? Right, number 3. I'm trying not to touch my face. My hands are clean, but it's tough. I don't know if you guys are finding the same. It's exhausting not having to touch my face. I didn't realize how many times a day I touch my face. All right. Condiments, salad dressings, and sauces, right? So this is another one where, we don't think about it because it's usually a savory. We don't think that it's a sweet sauce. It's not like chocolate sauce, right? And so we can get a little liberal with adding this to our food, and yet they are really, really high in sugar. The ones that are high, your salad dressings that are highest in sugar are obviously your sweeter ones, like your raspberry vinaigrettes or your French or your Catalina. These are the most sugar in them. But a lot of your sauces like ketchup, barbecue sauce, teriyaki, hoisin sauce, these also have a fair amount of sugar in them. So what can you do? Well, when it comes to dressings, I always like to make my own dressing because it doesn't take up a lot of time. Now, I'm not the best chef. I'm not expecting you to slave for hours, but an easy dressing is some olive oil, balsamic vinegar, a dash of Dijon mustard, and some lemon juice. And mix it all together, and it's a very tangy dressing, which is quick, easy, and it's got no sugar in it. And again, you can try and use different things like flavor your food with herbs or spices or fresh chili or mustard or vinegar or pesto. You can easily make your own pesto. And so these are different ways that you can flavor your foods rather than just reaching for that, that sauce. Now, if you absolutely want ketchup with your fries, go for it, have it. But just be aware that it's a high sugar product. That's just the main thing that I want you to get out of this video, is to become aware of where these hidden sugars are lurking, so that it's not, again, it's not to cut them out, it's just to cut them down. So instead of having, drowning your plate in ketchup, you just have a smaller dollop of ketchup, and you don't have it with every meal. And this is the key to kind of having that balance, and reducing the amount of sugar in your diet. Okay, so number 4 is beverages, energy drinks, and fruit juice. Now, if you've listened to me for a while, you'll know that fruit juice is my absolute bugbear. It is packed with sugar. It's got none of the fiber from a real fruit, and we just glug it down without even thinking twice, and you're drinking a lot of fruit sugar. In fact, there was a study done when it comes to beverages at Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, and what they found is that people who drank soda, sugar sodas, they consistently, they were as high a risk of getting heart disease without even having a genetic disposition to having heart disease, right? So this is significant. These are lifestyle diseases that are being affected, or we're at risk of, because of the things that we're drinking. And I'm not talking about alcohol. I'm just talking about your, things that we think are so benign, like soda and fruit juice and energy drinks. And again, this is not to cut them out. It's just to be aware of it so you can cut them down. Some energy drinks have about 25 grams per 8-ounce serving. And the leading brand of iced tea, lemon iced tea, has about 30 grams. That's 6 teaspoons in a bottle, right? This is insane amounts of sugar, because you just glug, 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 glug it down, and you don't even think about it. It's not even a meal, or it's not even a snack. It's just something in between that we don't even think about. And then back to my fruit sugars. Apple juice, a cup of apple juice probably has about 24 grams. It's almost 5 teaspoons. And we'll give this to our kids. How many times do you go to a restaurant and they give kids apple juice? It's full of sugar. No wonder they bounce off the walls. It's full of sugar. So again, limit. And again, it's not to say never have these things. It's just be aware and cut them down. So how can you cut them down? What are alternatives? So you can drink soda water. Instead of having your fizzy, sugary sodas. Sorry, I know I'm touching my face. I'm very aware of it now. Go for sparkling water, and then jazz it up again with some lemon, lime, cucumber, mint, whatever it is that kind of gets your fancy. You still get the kick of the bubbles like you do from the soda, and it's without the sugar. Herbal tea, if you love your iced tea, make your own iced tea, and then you can add the amount of sugar to it that you want, rather than relying on the food manufacturers that'll liberally add sugar to your iced tea. So these are all different ways that you can kind of reduce the amount of sugar that you're drinking that we don't even realize about. Okay, and then the final one is granola bars, and health bars or protein bars also can kind of fall into this one as well. So they sound like a health food, and you think you're being really healthy by having this as a snack when you go out. They're easy to transport, I get that. But they're actually not healthy. A lot of them have a lot of sugar, or ingredients like corn syrup, brown sugar, honey, dextrose, fructose. Now, these are all just other words for sugar. And so, on top of that, they can also have a coating of yogurt or chocolate or chocolate chips in them. And these can all ramp up the amount of sugar that you're actually consuming in this one product. So an alternative can be make your own granola bars, right? And we're back to you can control how much sugar or honey goes into these things. You can snack on a handful of nuts or trail mix, which you can easily carry around in a little, sealable bag. If you're out and about, put them in your handbag, in your car, give them to your kids for their backpacks. A boiled egg. A boiled egg is a great in-between a snack. Again, it's high in protein, so it'll keep you going for longer. It's got no sugar in it. Or things like beef jerky. Again, depends which one. Go for the no sugar one, or where I'm from originally, we call it biltong. If you can make your own, even better. Or even just the simple piece of fresh fruit, right? This is it's simple, it's easy. You're getting vitamins and minerals, fiber. Um, you can't go wrong with a piece of fresh fruit. All right, so that's it for today. If you want more details where I go way more in depth than all of this stuff and give you a lot more healthy tips, you can check out my online course. It's just opened, and there's an April bonus special where you get a coaching session just with me. So it's worth $150 just the coaching session, and that's a free bonus if you join in April. So you can go check that out on my website. It's mindshiftme.com/online courses. We'll go to the online courses page. I'll put the link in the description and on my Facebook community group. So if you haven't joined that, come and join me there. I'm hanging out there a lot. That's Mindshift Me Community. Right, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to put all this information into an infographic which you can download, and I'll put that on my Facebook group. So don't forget to join that, Mindshift Me Community, and you can download that there. Have a great weekend, everyone. Happy Friday, and I'll chat to you soon.